never fails. Can't just have more than 2 minutes without an ad. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I'd be back. All right. So let's get started here. Coming on over, take a peek. This is January 7, 2024 there. And as you can see, it's been a quiet day here on the sun, which is good. You could use a little break of activity from the sun here. So really not much to report. Looks like there was something kind of sneaking by there, but right there, yeah. But not much activity to report for there. So let's move on over here real quick and do our GOES X-ray flux. Our D layers doing really good now. That absorption event is over. And come to find out, that was a gamma ray burst that we endured. Anyways, you can see here that our GOES X-ray flux is pretty quiet right now. We're just hugging the sea floor. No absorption right now. That event is over, so that's good. And then your X flare potential is still 10%. We still got 3 sunspot regions that are beta gamma here, so the sun is still volatile. Even though it seems to have calmed down a little bit, it could pack a punch at any moment here. There's still a lot of sunspots here going across. These are all the sunspots, and 3 of them are, very dangerous. This KP reading is an indication of the suppression in our geomagnetic field here. You see this geomagnetic overview? Anyways, this is like a sign of that suppression that I was showing you, like the magnetic grip that it had on the planet. Let's go over here real quick and open up the auroras. The auroras are looking pretty good. We're not taking a bunch of solar wind or anything too bad right now. This is nice and faint. This is what I like to see when they're very weak and very faint right here, very ghostly. So that means we're not getting bombarded right now. Let's come on over here and open up the tracker real quick. You can see that they're tracking this CME here. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same one from yesterday. The one that we saw from yesterday was smaller, very weak, but it did come at the Earth. This one seems to be going away from the Earth, but watch the very edge. See that very edge? We might catch a glancing blow again. And let me just kind of scoot this over so you can see all 3 of them. There we go. I'll let you guys look at that for a second. See, right? Just the very edge of that blue, that little ripple right there seems to cross us a little bit there. And it even goes right there south of the planet. So it looks to hit the southern hemisphere more than us, more than the northern. All right, so let's back out of that. There we go. Oh, one more. Okay. Here's a little look at these sunspot regions that are rounding the limb now that are coming in. This is our next round right here, 3540 and 3541. Those are the next ones to watch out for. And 3541 is green. It's okay. And what was the other one? 3540 is the beta gamma one. This bigger one right here to watch out for next, okay? A few more days until it rotates fully into our into range there. Okay, now coming back over to here, we're going to pick up where we left off last night with this little cosmic ray speckle that was captured by the Mars rover looking at the backside of the sun. So we couldn't see the backside of the sun during this event that happened, right? Well, the Mars rover takes a picture of the sun every day. It says once a day it looks up to check the sun. On January 4th, Perseverance found 5 sunspot groups. They're all looking at these sunspot groups. Well, it also detected this cosmic ray speckle. All right, that's what they call it, a cosmic ray speckle. And then when we open this up, you can see there's a little bright spot region right here on the sun, generated by cosmic rays. All right. Now, when we had this absorption event, it wasn't affecting our GOES X-ray flux. We had, red down below, and we had blue up top and green up top for a while. And then when we did have that M flare, we saw the red spot right here, but it really didn't affect the other regions that much. They were already going, right? So the M flare showed up on here, but the other activity didn't show up on the GOES X-ray flux. And that's because it wasn't X-rays that were hitting us, it was gamma rays. Now, there's a difference between the X-rays and gamma rays. Gamma rays penetrate differently and at a different wavelength, and they have, what we're seeing is different effects. There's cause and effect. The cause is the gamma ray burst that we got, that they detected right here. Whoops, that they detected right here. Called it a cosmic ray. The speckle means this little dot, the little whatever, the pixel, cosmic ray pixel or whatever that it detected right there. Well, that's a gamma ray burst that came at the backside of the sun when it cleared the sun. Here was Earth right here. See that little dot here? Let's pull this back up a little bit, the bigger picture here, please. If you can see this little dot down here in the corner, that's Earth. And when this, coming out of the camera, straight at my screen here is going right, the cosmic rays were going right at the sun like that, past the sun and doused Earth, okay? And the reason why we weren't seeing it on the GOES X-ray flux is because it was gamma rays. We had a gamma ray burst, you guys. That's what that was. And, they called it this cosmic ray. Well, that's what a gamma ray burst is. It's cosmic rays. So we got hit with the gamma ray burst, and they're not telling us. I'm sure NASA knows. Wait, before we get into that, though. So this was yesterday's article. I want to go ahead and change it to today's article. All right, let me take a sip here real quick. These auroras are not auroras. On January 5th, 2 seemingly unrelated things happened in Stockholm, Sweden. A punishing cold wave hit the city, plunging the air temperatures almost 30 degrees below freezing. At the same time, aurora-colored lights filled the sky, yet these are not auroras. They are light pillars. With extreme cold, ice crystals fill the air, And this created a magnificent display of light pillars that looked almost like northern lights. Okay, so sometimes be careful. There's a difference between auroras and light pillars, and this is happens when it's extremely cold and the ice crystals in the air. You can always tell the light pillars are different because you can see the light source down here at the ground going up. You can always see their light sources at the ground. So when you see like a pillar of light in the sky sometimes and you think, oh my god, aliens are beaming down or whatever, it could be an individual pillar, you know. And if you have a concentration of a city lights like this, you'll see multiple pillars. But if there's only like one bright spot in, say in a rural region, you will see only one pillar. Okay. Then I wanted to come on down here to the asteroid, the near Earth object list here, okay? And pretty soon we're going to be tracking a lot of this stuff here. The show's going to take a change and we're going to be covering this stuff as well. What I kind of wanted to say about this, everybody is always looking for the near miss, the 0.1, the closest lunar distance. These are all lunar distance, 11.2 lunar distance. That's way out there. That's 11 times further out than the moon is, right? This is 0.6. That's just a little over halfway out to the moon, right? So while everybody's looking at these close calls, I want to remind you guys another one to watch out for on this list is 1 lunar distance. Do you kind of get it what I'm saying? Something at 1 lunar distance might strike the moon. All right? So we got to watch for close calls and ones. All right? Because everybody keeps it was only 1 lunar distance, but, we were safe. Well, we were safe, but the moon wasn't. And if something happens to the moon, there will be cause and effect here on the Earth, okay? So when we go through this list, you're looking at these highlighted ones in pink, right? Those are the close calls, but then don't forget the ones that are in pink that are exactly 1 lunar distance are ones to just stay aware of, because not only could the Earth get struck, but the moon's another object that's close by, and it could get struck by an asteroid as well. All right, so I just want to come over here and remind you guys we'll probably start using this as we get more and more of these encounters, and then possibly ones impacting the moon as well. Okay, now over here to the Schumann. After our gamma ray burst, the absorption of it and then the recovery afterwards, you can see we came out the backside. Here we were doing nice and strong. All right, this is the 7.83. I'm happy to see that green line back. Whoo. But right here at the end, you can see this big screeching effect right here. The core and the shell are scraping again. We have pressure down below that's causing the core and the shell to grind again. All right, that means pressure down below has built up again. Now, this energy that came in the form of gamma rays instead of X-rays has had an effect more volcanically than earthquake-wise. It had this suppression effect where, like a magnetic grip type effect, suppressed a lot of the earthquake activity and kept it within a certain range. Now, the map is pretty quiet. Considering all that energy we just took in, we should be starting to see some repercussions from it by now. So let's just get into this real quick. This is a 5.3 at a depth of 10. So no deep quake, but a surface quake at 5.3. Means we got mid-range 5 energy at the surface. By Jove, there's another one, 5.5 at a depth of 10. As we come on up the system here, all quiet in this region right now. quiet means, potential, filling in too. 4.9 there. You know what we do with 0.9s around here. 4.6 right there. This is this little island here right off of the plate boundary. Is there a volcano or anything right here? Nope, just offshore, but a new region to watch. It's not on the plate boundary. You see the little, let me go in just a tad bit. You see this little compression wave, this ridge that's built up on the ocean floor. It's a compression wave. It's from this plate pushing up against that plate. This one buckles and ripples, and the compression, creates little ripples, buckles, and ridges. So that's an underwater ridge, and look how it's pointing right at that quake. This little ridge is probably gonna be receiving a lot of the pressure. See how it's similar to the plate boundary? If it doesn't snap loose here at the plate boundary, the next weak spot in will this little ridge. So we're gonna watch this little ridge for a while now that we've had this. It's not much. It's a 4.6. But at this juncture, any one of these quakes could be a hint or a clue to our potential big quake next quake swarm weak spot region. There we go. 4.5 right there. See how it skipped the fulcrum point and went for this weak spot over here in the Himalayas that we've been seeing? 4.5, huh? Okay, we'll watch that area as well. It even pushed a little further deeper inland here to China, 4.4 there. Now, over to where our latest big quake was, a 5.0 here in Japan. Now, yesterday we had 3 quakes at this spot. Now we only have 1. See how this quake activity has died down, but wait till we get to the volcano report. It has dramatically increased. The other side of the garden hose, 3.5 right there. This one's probably a little more realistic at 4. So there's some 4 energy that's rounding the corner. Going to come down, probably squeeze off something around the Wanda Fuca. This looks to be 2.8. That's really shallow. And a 2.8. It doesn't look like much energy is going to come over. If anything, there'd be, a mid-range 3 to a 4, maybe on one of the fulcrum points right around here. This little spot right there, relieve a little pressure. Yeah, for some reason, the quakes have been very mellow, and within this mid-range 4 to 5 range, 4.4 and 4.6 right there on the Cocos plate. That might be a little indicator where we might be seeing major movement, or if a big one were to go off. Here again, fulcrum point, 5.2, and right below it is a 4.5. So all in all, it's just really quiet. Okay. I mean, don't you agree? We do this every night, and you can tell the difference between our just normal activity, and this should be more active, and it's less active. So we're having a different effect from that gamma ray absorption. So now we're going to come over to the volcanoes, because here's where we're really starting to see the effects. And if we can, no, I do not want your ad. All right. Already going into January 8th, we have Popo, Ibu, Tokono, Maarapi, Reventador, Suwanosejima, volcanic ash advisory. Now, some of these, here we go. Ibu, explosive activity continues. Ash plume rose up to 7,000 feet out of Ibu. Um, Luatobi explosive activity to 10,000 feet. That's the highest I've seen coming out of Luatobi. Marapi, our new one on the island of Sumatra there, 2 explosions, 16,000 and 17,000. Now we're getting double kicks above 10,000, way above 10,000. 16 and 17, 2 blasts, 16 and 17 out of Marapi today. Ducono, 8,000 feet. Popo, still volcanic ash advisory. Fuego, here we go. Weak to moderate Strombolian volcanion-sized explosions continue to take place from the summit vent at roughly regular intervals of 5 to 6 per hour. We're having intervals now, 5 to 6 per hour. Eruptions released ash emissions to elevation range between 14,000 and 15,000. Ash plumes extended to the north. See, it had 2. 1 to 14,000 and 1 to 15. 14.8 and 15.7. So another double puffer there. Look at Sangay, up to 20,000 feet now. All right, you guys starting to see what's happening here? These double explosions, higher altitudes. All right, now going into the 7th. That was just the 8th. That was just a few hours of the 8th that we've entered, and that was everything I just reported was from just the last couple hours. Suno Sejima today erupted. Ibu had one to 7,000 feet. Luatobi still 10,000 feet right there. Luatolo 6,000 feet. Semeru still volcanic ash advisory. Here's Ducono 9,000 feet. Popo 18,000 feet. Santa Guido 15,000 feet. Fuego 15,000. All of these are all above 10,000 now. All of these ones that were smaller. I mean, this one's under 10,000. It's 9. Everything else has been pretty much over 10,000 feet. 15. Look at Nevada del Ruiz at 21,000 feet. Here's Sangay pushing 22,000 feet. Reventador 15,000 feet. Sabancaya 24,000 feet. Okay, so the explosiveness, the pressure is building in the volcanoes, and we might kind of switch over from a large earthquake warning to a large volcanic blast warning. Since it wasn't X-rays that hit us, it was gamma rays. All right, so we're switching from X to gamma. All right. Other currently erupting: Bizimani, Ducono, Ebico, Arubis, Urda Ale, Fuego, Ibu, Krakatau, Luatobi, Luatolo, Marapi, Masaya, Merapi, Michael in the South Sandwich Islands. We always forget about that one. Still going. Nyiragongo, Popocatépetl, Reventador, Sabancaya, Sakurajima, Sangay, Santa Guido. All these are still active. Yasur still on there as well. I want to go up to here because some of these already went off and should be on the active list. Aoba, Bangana, Etna. Watch out at Etna, you guys. People in Italy, watch out there. The Great Sitkin, Karangatang, Monam. That one hops back and forth a lot. Same with Mayone. Nevada del Ruiz. We already saw it. 15, 22,000 or something? I forget. But that one should be over here. This one should be over here. Recuhanus. Everybody, let's talk about Recuhanus here for a minute, you guys. All right, they're opening up the hot tub pool, the Blue Lagoon. Thank you, Lord, the Blue Lagoon, and they're bringing tourism in temporarily. And the last time they did that was just after we had an absorption event. And what happened? That big old curtain of lava shot up out of there right when they opened it. So here they are going to open up the Blue Lagoon as we just took in a bunch of gamma rays now. They'd affect volcanoes. So watch as the people go into Recuhanus, go into the Blue Lagoon, and we'll see another eruption probably. Rincon de Vieja, Ubinus, Uluwan. This one blew up yesterday. It's watch out for it. It'll go back over here. A lot of these are going to go active again because it seems to have had a volcanic, more of a effect on the magma than on pressure. Well, than on the earthquakes. All right. Here we are over at our bipolar planet here, our bipolar society. Boy, was I out in it today, and I could tell you stories. All right, but we couldn't. So now every day this thing changes, all right? And now what's happened here is our subvortex is nice and strong, round, circular, very uniformed, very organized. That's the word I want to look for. This is very organized. And the other side, does that look very organized? What used to be our polar vortex over here is now becoming the unorganized, weird one, while this new one over here is becoming more organized. This tells me that we got some issues going on down below, and yeah. Anyways, the way it's affecting our weather, you can see the flow. This cold air is coming right out, right through the gate and right onto America. All right. Half of it's being split and going this way, and the other half's being split and going that way. Now, for a while, the rest of the world was getting this polar vortex, the cause and the effect of it. And now it's America's turn here. And we are right like at the mouth of the garden hose. This thing's just spewing on America right now. It's good that we're not in the purple region. That would be terrible. It's nice that it splits up and goes, one way and the other, but it is bringing a lot of cold air. And get ready to see, temperatures drop way down to, further south as well. Looks like a crazy face, huh? With spinny eyes, like some kind of, I don't know, like a psychedelic acid trip face or whatever. All right, enough playing around there. We want to take a peek at our upper jet stream now, because here's America. All right, you can see the shoreline and everything. And I take the wind, put the winds on. Cold air coming out of Gulf of Alaska, coming right down, the west coast here from Washington all the way down into the tip of Baja here, and then going back up and combining this cold air with this moist air and shoving these storms together. This what I call the cocktail, this perfect cocktail of warm, moist air and cold, dry air come slamming together and make this, this deadly mix, this hot cocktail of severe weather. Now, real quick, I want to take a peek at our SO2 and get an idea what our pressure levels. See, this doesn't look all that dark. It hasn't really changed too much. So the pressure down below is there. It's not all that strong, or it hasn't really increased to the levels I expected from that absorption event. But now seeing as how the absorption event was a different kind, it was gamma rays instead of X rays that we're used to seeing from the sun. And like Mike from around the world was saying, it's like getting an M class constant stream M class, but it wasn't M class X rays, it was M class gamma rays, and therefore didn't show up on the GOES X ray flux. We need a GOES gamma ray flux, is the next instrument they need to come up with, probably. For you guys in that field that are listening. All right, let's bingo. I'm sure they have it. We just don't have access to it. That's about all I want to look around. Oh, the island of Java. I like to look at it's a good indicator of the pressure in this archipelago here. And it's mainly right here, centered right around Java, the purple island of Java here, and the channel right here where Krakatau is. The new Marapi is right here in this region right there. That's this plume, or that little site that you see right here. This is something else in Singapore. All right, so as far as the gases go, looking good, but man, what a wild polar vortex now. And like I said, it has changed. We had the main vortex kind of, it's unorganized now. See it kind of collapsing and falling apart, and this one's gaining strength. I'm willing to kind of go out on a limb here and tell you that this is probably going to be our new polar vortex. It's going to eat this thing up. This thing will fall apart and just, get all shabby and disintegrate, and then that'll be our new polar vortex rotating backward. Rotating backward, because you see this is going clockwise. See how that's spinning clockwise, and this one spinning counterclockwise. I think our core is spinning clockwise now and is starting to, it's so strong now that it's starting to have its effects on our polar vortex, rip it in half, turn it around backwards, and then if this truly does happen, and this thing becomes more and more dominant and takes over and kind of rips apart this other vortex, we're going to have a backward spinning polar vortex. I mean, just look how perfectly symmetrical and round and concentrated at the center. It's just like this little, it's no longer a sub vortex. It's like the almost main vortex now. Last time the polar vortex was looking like that, and our sub vortex was all wobbly and wonky, looking like this. All right, I look for not organization, but the uniformity of this. The structure of it just looks like it's really taking over. It's nice and perfectly round. And that other one is not round. It is going to split. Look, it looks like these two are about to touch. It's going to pinch off this. Wait a second. Yep. Look at this. It's already doing it. You see what I'm saying? It's pinching off right here. This one's, and this one right here, two separate vortexes almost. These are going to pinch off this vortex. This vortex is going to collapse. We've been watching it collapse slowly over the last week or so as this one gains More organization. It's more organized. That's what I want to say. More organized. And it's spinning backwards, you guys. It's spinning the same direction that everything on the southern hemisphere is. Usually there's a little blue border line, but this little boundary area, the boundary area is very far north. It's almost at the equator. There should be a little that blue line should be more down in this region, I think. Anyways, you see what's going on here. This one's taken over, I swear. Pray I'm wrong, but this one's kind of taken over here. We're going to watch it closely, but it could be indications that our core is spinning backward now. Pretty sure it is. Has been for a while. But that's just my theory, my opinion. You guys are free and entitled to think whatever you guys want. What was I looking at here, Lord? Oh, China. Yes. Look at how this is all coming together over China. So China will be going into some severe weather, as well as look up here where these jet streams come together. See how it's pulling cold air out of the Arctic? See how this little conveyor belt goes way up there, grabs cold air, pulls it down into Spain, France right here, and it mixes with this more moist air that came off the U.S. So right in that region, Europe, watch out. Great Britain, see how it goes up, zigzags, and comes backwards at Great Britain. They're used to getting most of their weather from this side. Now it's coming around from the other side and hitting them backwards. So for you folks in my audience that ask about Great Britain every once in a while, expect to see your weather coming from the opposite direction. Okay? East to west instead of west to east. For a little while until that buckle or that this ridge moves on. But kind of wonky patterns we're seeing as a result of what's going on down below. All right, let's move on to our weather forecast. I'll go ahead and open and let that run for a second. Oh no. I haven't even looked at this yet, so I've been sitting in traffic with a bunch of tourists and snow-covered roads in the Sierras. I'll tell you one thing. I can give you guys a tip for driving in the snow. Here's my best tip for driving in the snow. Put your cell phone down. I can't believe on icy mountain passes, people's lives in jeopardy and everybody's still on their phones. Just never mind. We got to get onto the weather. Yeah. The best tip for driving in the snow is to put your phone down and drive slower. Leave more room. Pump your brakes. Don't go into corners too fast. Do all your decelerating before you initiate a corner. Don't try to hit your brakes and corner at the same time. Do all your slowing down, get to the speed that you think you're going to be able to initiate the corner with, get down to that speed before you start cranking the wheel left or right. And then just roll through the corner. Don't touch your brakes. You're already at the speed you need. Let the wheels do the work and roll through your corners. Another thing that really, really helps in winter driving is using your turn signal, people. Oh my God, you press buttons with your thumbs 1,000 times a day, but you can't lift your finger once to show where you intend to go. I mean, I almost hit some dude dressed in black, all in black, in the dark, trying to cross a dark intersection, and he's lucky I can see black on black. Imagine if you cut a a shape out of black paper, and then put that shape on the same black paper and went 10 feet away and tried to tell me what shape you cut out. Somebody cut out and put, a black circle. Is it a black square? Yeah, you can't tell because it's black on black. You can't even see it. Luckily for him, I can, because this guy is still alive because I could see blackness moving in the blackness. And he's screaming at me, "Hey, I'm in a crosswalk." And I'm like, yeah, you dressed in black with no lights, no nothing. People. Anyways, you can see that it's about to get gnarly, and we're going to have big time headaches. I don't even really know how to report on this part right now. Yeah, drivers are losing their minds in the UK. Yeah. Everybody's losing their minds because of the magnetic field and stuff too. Not only is there so many distractions in the news that got people up inside their minds, but then you got cell phones, all these different distractions, people in a rush. It creates chaos. So I'm rambling, huh? All right, let's get to it. I guess because I don't want to really do this part, but let's just get her done. And so I say a little prayer when I go out of the roads. Lord, protect me. You see what's going on out there. It's like, negotiating a minefield. So protect me out on the roads. And I suggest you guys do the same, because he will. He'll protect you out there. All right, let's get to this. Here we are, current conditions. Oh, wait, let me pull it down just right. All right, current conditions as we go into the morning of the 8th. Here comes the cold and moist air coming together. They kiss in the morning of the 8th. Intense snow right there in Kansas. All right. 6 to possibly 8 inches is what the color coding says right there. As that comes together right there at the noon time, that's about 11, 12 o'clock their time right there. Then by the end of convection, up pops the severe weather. Okay, here's going to be your tornado event right here, probably in Arkansas. These little pop-ups out here in front are even more dangerous. Down in Louisiana, Mississippi. Then as it goes into a nocturnal tornado event, probably we're talking high winds, large hail, massive downpours, probably a decent size long track tornado out of that. So that's the nighttime right there. Long track tornado, possibly at night, January 8th. In the morning time, see how these bands are kind of broken up? If that happens, I don't see why this is happening, but anyways, you're looking at severe weather waking up in the morning. This will be 6 to 7 in the morning out there in that region, as you're going to have severe weather and possible long track tornadoes in the morning that you wake up to. Then when the sun really hits it by noon, it blossoms into this big massive red spot. This whole area. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go to another map here. We'll have to look up the helicity for that area. I'm sure it's very high. The helicity means the chance for rotation. So right here, noontime, everybody from from Virginia through Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, even back into Alabama, down into Florida as well. Be on the lookout for severe weather and severe blizzard on the backside. These millibars are really close together. High winds, drifting snow, whiteout conditions. This thing is going to pack a punch. It's going to have every little factor in it too. So I didn't see icing, but there probably will be some somewhere along the way in that thing. All right. Right there is the end of convection. There's the nighttime. We're talking nocturnal tornadoes again into the morning time, all the way from like Pennsylvania down through Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Georgia, that whole region. Let me just kind of do this again. Boom, boom. Starting right there with that nasty severe weather. Boom, boom. That's the noontime. So tomorrow at noon during the day out east here, you guys stay alert. Here we are at the end of convection. This will probably be, even more intense than what they're showing because the sun will have lifted all these cloud tops by the end of the day there. So that yellow area might be one big red area. Boom. I pray I'm wrong, but you see where this model's going. All right. Now it gets really intense, hits Long Island, Massachusetts, New York City, Maryland. They're going to get a good ass whipping right there. Oh, man. That's the nighttime of the 9th. It kind of goes up through Maine in the morning of the 10th into the noontime of the 10th, and then kind of clears out of there by the end of convection, sundown the 10th. A little break during the 11th still, and then here we go. The nighttime of the 11th, the moist and warm, moist, cold, dry come together. They kiss, they make babies, and here we go. Tennessee, severe weather, possibly in the 12th. Then it does this thing. It really kind of consolidates and wraps around and gets more organized here. See how it went from unorganized to a full circle now with severe weather right there, like Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas. Boom. That's the end of convection right there. When the cloud tops are at their highest, the end of the day, you got deep snow, severe blizzard here on the backside right here in Illinois and in Missouri, and severe weather going up into Indiana, Ohio right there. So all you guys brace for the 12th. Look at that. I've never seen the millibars that tight before. It's actually pushing a low of 968. That's like a category 1 hurricane. Is it 963 or 983? That's 963. Wow. And then you see the icing event up in here and stuff as well. I'm not going to call out areas. What I am going to do, though, is zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what to expect here on the 12th in that region. Wow. All right. Let's see here. Back out of that. So that's the morning of the 13th. Go back over these timestamps just real quick for you, starting right about here, starting the morning of the 12th, the noontime of the 12th, the end of convection right there, blossoming into the nighttime. Well, not blossoming, but just moving into the nighttime here of the 12th. There's the morning of the 13th with icing up there in Canada. That's going to be taking out power. The power will probably already be out from the first storm anyways. And then this thing's going to come through and just add insult to injury. There is the morning or the noon time of the 13th. And that thing is just high winds all the way back around here. This thing is just like a huge nor'easter. And you see how it's taken moisture from the Gulf Stream here, wrapping it around, hitting this cold air. And now it's dishing out right here to Maine again. You guys might want to just move out of the state of Maine. It just looks like the it's just being brutalized this year. That's the end of convection, the 13th. Then nighttime, the 13th, and then morning of 14th. Then we have another little merging here. This is as soon as one clears out, we got this one coming in. That's the end of convection right there on the 14th, going into the nighttime. There's your morning of the 15th with this ice band in between these two, and that's hitting like Arkansas, Tennessee, mainly in that region. That'll be the noontime. Getting severe weather out of it by the end of convection here in Florida. It had icing in it the whole time. Look at that. And that's the nighttime of the 15th. Look how it goes right up here to New York and Long Island right there by the morning of the 16th. Again, snow for Maine there. And then it moves on out. Another blast coming in here in the Pacific Northwest. See it drive this low through there. That go back through there. See this come down through here. Watch. Boom, boom, boom. That merges together right here again, and then starts going up the East Coast with more snow. So, boy, everybody out here, get ready for flash flooding on a scale that's just going to be probably off the hook. Because when this moves through, it's going to dump a bunch of water. Then on the backside, it'll leave some snow. There's more snow landing on the ground right there. Then this storm comes along and washes away all that snow. It'll flood like crazy right there and then move on out. More cold air moves through there and covers it with snow. So not only are you going to have a flooding event, but then it might freeze over afterwards as well, adding more insult to more injury. Wow. I pray that this changes. I hope this pattern changes because it's going to be devastating. Starting right there, people are going to start losing their lives. It's going to be sad. I wish we could just evacuate that whole region of the country, but again, the most important thing coming up in the near future is this storm right here, starting right here where they kiss, and they meet the noon time of the 8th. That's tomorrow. Already noon tomorrow, yeah. Heavy snow in Kansas. This thing is just going to accelerate, have severe weather by convection in Arkansas, then really severe weather back down into Mississippi. You guys in Mississippi tomorrow night, be on alert. Mississippi, Alabama, this whole region right here. Just because it's showing this, it might be up here, it might be back a little bit. So if you're in this region, you have family in this region, tell them, watch out for a nighttime nocturnal tornado event or possible. That's the nighttime of the 8th. Then we go into the morning of the 9th. There's still going to be severe weather in the morning hours. That's going to be crazy. Right there is going to be crazy. That's the noon time. So hopefully everybody will be awake and alert by this time. There have been plenty of warning for all these people in the regions as they saw this, blossom back here. Long track tornadoes, all of a sudden people are like taking heed, taking warning, getting aware because there it is right there. And then it goes right up the East Coast into the convection. That's the when the cloud tops are their highest, that whole region right there is going to be under the gun. Unbelievable. Well, very believable if you've read the Bible. So there's your weather. Yeah, yeah, if they're traveling there on the 9th, where are they going? What time are they landing? Where exactly? I'll give you a minute to respond to that because I know there's a slight delay. On the 9th, right there. Oh, it was Signs and Wonders. My parents are traveling there the 9th. Warn them, tell them to come over to this site. It's called Tropical Tidbits. You can come over here and play with this yourself. Tell them to come over here and press this little button and look at what's coming before they go in that region. If they won't take your word for it, have them come over to the site and go, here, watch. You're going to be going into a nightmare if you go there. Just know that there's going to be flight delays, long lines, power outages, no cell service, no way to charge your phone. Okay, well, if they leave the 9th, there's going to be, yeah, if you're leaving, it's going to be travel problems in that region. See all the snow that it's putting down? So everything from about this part north is going to be covered in snow. Actually, that line kind of went like this, didn't it? Right there. Yeah. All right. Enough of that. All right. So there's your weather forecast, solar forecast, all that. Let's cover this one more time, real quick. The gamma ray burst that we got hit with, that nobody's talking about. Well, I will talk about it, and I will tell you this little. Come here. This little speck right here, cosmic ray speckle. That's the satellite picked up indications of cosmic rays hitting the sun. Well, cosmic rays are gamma ray burst. And that's why it lasted 4 days like that. It wasn't just being sideswiped by an X flare. That was only an X5. We've seen bigger that have, done more or done less to the instruments than that effect did. So after kind of talking to the Lord and looking around, he's guiding me here and guiding me there. He's like, hey, dummy, it's a gamma ray burst. Oh, yeah. And they even say cosmic ray speckle. But it was on the back side of the sun where we can't see it, where most of our instruments aren't looking. And they took stereo A away from the backside of the sun. But thank God for this rover looked up and took a picture and captured our culprit, cosmic ray, gamma ray burst that hit us. And now it's, after absorbing, it seems to be affecting volcanoes more so than earthquakes. It seems to have kind of dampened the earthquake activity some. There's a new one right there, though, 5.0 right there, or 4.9. You know what we do with nines at this place. So roughly a 5.0 right here at our weak spot. This is one of the spots I was not expecting, but it could be one of our big event spots. If we were to have a big event, bigger quake, it would be at one of these newer weak areas that have formed. The one over here that we had with the 7.5, this one, and now our third new weak spot is this spot up here at Japan now. All right. So any one of those three could possibly have our big quake. I'm kind of thinking that big quake potential is still there because we absorb so much energy, but it seems to be coming out in the form of volcanoes instead. So maybe a big volcanic eruption instead of a big earthquake. Thing about volcanoes is they go hand in hand with earthquakes. If we were to have a big volcanic blast, it could trigger a big earthquake, or maybe vice versa. The earthquake hasn't fired off yet. It needs the volcanic blast or that weakening spot in order for it to vent, and then we might see our big event earthquake centered around a volcano. All right. And all these heights are getting higher. We're having ones with two of them with double blasts. All right. Multiple blasts a day. So it seems to be coming out in the form of volcanic activity instead. This thing just refreshed. Okay. Yeah, I'm watching this like a hawk for anything else happening here. All right, good. So yeah, it didn't affect the GOES X-ray flux because it was a gamma ray burst, and the absorption's a little different. All right, I think that's it for that report. And now we'll just come on over and do the spiritual report, and we'll free you kids up so you can go out to recess. Or what are they serving in the cafeteria today? Yeah, this is the nightmare I was kind of in, driving in the snow out here by Kirkwood. This is an old video, but 3 hours to get there in traffic that barely moved. And it was all because the person up in front had their chains on, and they let a stack up of cars build up behind them, about 50 cars deep, 100 cars deep. And I guess people don't know that there's a law that says if you're holding up more than 5 cars, it depends on the state, I believe, but it's something like if you're holding up more than 5 cars and you aren't going the speed limit, you're supposed to pull over and let traffic go through. Because today we have a bunch of people that have 4-wheel drive and snow tires and can go faster than 15 miles an hour on wet pavement. Why should we all have to do 15 miles an hour because the guy with chains on doesn't want him to slap in the wheel well, so he's only doing 15 and refuses to pull over and let anybody by? Well, come to find out, he didn't even know he had backed up 100 cars deep because he was on his cell phone. Driving with chains on his cell phone, backed up 100 cars going over a mountain pass. Situational awareness, folks, really, it's really about situational awareness. And you can see people don't have it. And you guys do. You guys are aware of the situation, aren't you? Yes, indeed. You guys are aware of the situation. That's what makes you so blessed to be here at this channel. And I'm blessed to have such great viewers that stick with me thick and thin through this kind of madness. I mean, this would drive most people crazy, you know. You start figuring that this stuff's real, and your mind starts going places like, "Oh my God, are we coming to the end? Is the world gonna blow up or what?" And you know, those people are having those thoughts. Well, we're like, "Yeah, of course it's gonna blow up," but there's something better afterwards. Okay, so I did not have this ready, so just bear with me while I get something for us to read. No, I don't want that. Hang on, bear with me here real quick. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and just play this video real quick while I get my my reading together here. Folks, welcome back. So I know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now. Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier this year, 2020, around Easter when I captured what appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. That crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head, too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event. All right. This event happened on Easter of 2020. How about that, you guys? On Easter. It should scream volumes. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better right there. Okay, so come to me for understanding, since I know you far better than you know yourself. I comprehend you in all your complexity. No detail of your life is hidden from me. I view you through eyes of grace, so don't be afraid of my intimate awareness. Allow the light of my healing presence to shine into the deepest recesses of your being, cleansing, healing, and refreshing and renewing you. Trust me enough to accept the full forgiveness that I offer you continually. This great gift, which cost me my life, is yours for all eternity. Forgiveness is at the very core of my abiding presence. I will never leave you or forsake you. When no one else seems to understand you, simply draw closer to me. Rejoice in the one who understands you completely and loves you perfectly. As I fill you with my love, you become a reservoir of love, overflowing into the lives of other people. Trust me one day at a time. This keeps you close to me, responsive to my will. Trust is not a natural response, especially for those who have been deeply wounded. My spirit within you is your resident tutor, helping you in this supernatural endeavor. Yield to his gentle touch and be sensitive to his prompting. Exert your will to trust me in all circumstances, and don't let your need to understand distract you from my presence. I will equip you to get through this day victoriously and as you live in deep dependence on me. Tomorrow is busy worrying about itself, so don't get tangled up in its worry webs. Trust me one day at a time. I want you to live close to me, open to me, aware of, attentive to, and trusting and thanking me. I am always near you, so open yourself fully, heart, mind, and spirit, to my living presence. Feel free to ask the Holy Spirit to help you in this endeavor. Seek to stay aware of me as you follow your path through this day. There is never a moment when I am not fully aware of you. Attentiveness involves being alert, situational awareness, listening carefully, and observing closely. I encourage you to be attentive not only to me, but to the people I bring into your life. Listening to others with full, prayerful attention blesses both them and you. The Bible is full of instructions to trust me and thank me. Remember, I am totally trustworthy, so it is always appropriate to believe me and my promises. I understand your weakness, and I will help you overcome your unbelief. Finally, thank me throughout the day. This discipline of gratitude helps you receive my joy in full measure. Okay, so, I guess we got another one. Never mind. I thought we were done. Here. So, when the task before you looks daunting, refuse to be intimidated. Discipline your thinking to view the challenge as a privilege rather than a burdensome duty. Make the effort to replace your I have to mentality with an I get to approach. This will make all the difference in your perspective, transforming drudgery into delight. This is not a magic trick. The work still has to be done. But the change in your viewpoint can help you face the challenging chore joyfully and confidently. As you go about your work, perseverance is essential. If you start to grow weary, or discouraged, remind yourself, I get to do this. Then thank me for giving you the ability and the strength to do what needs to be done. Thankfulness clears your mind and draws you closer to me. Remember that my spirit who lives in you is the helper. Ask him to help. Ask him to help you when you're perplexed. As you ponder problems and seek solutions, he will guide your mind. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as for working for me. Okay? I'm a chef. I do all kinds of crazy cooking, and the chef that I learned from taught me one of the best things that I ever learned, and it pertains to all things in life. I used to come up to him with a weird looking piece of fruit. Is this any good? And he'd smell it and he'd go, yeah, you can serve that. And then I'd see something else that looked kind of iffy, and I'd go over and, hey, is this okay to serve? And he'd go, no, don't serve that. And I always kind of wondered, what was it? The smell. What was it he detected that he could make that decision? And one day I came up to him with this piece of something, and I'm like, Chef, is this any good? He goes, Brian, stop doing that. I want you to look at it yourself and think, would you eat that? Would you serve that? Would you eat it? Hell no, I wouldn't eat it. Well, then don't serve it to others. Oh, well, that's all it is? Yes, that's all it is. If you wouldn't eat it yourself, don't serve it to others. And that little trick right there, I never had to ask ever again. And now I got every chef in the world coming to me. Is this any good? Is that any good? Is this old? Is this good? Well, I don't know. Would you eat it? Pretty simple, basic rule. And I just thought I'd kind of pass that on because it applies to a lot of different aspects of life. Before you cut out in front of and cut somebody off in traffic, would you want someone to do that to you? It goes so deep and into every avenue of life. And I hope you guys just kind of get that little gem there. It's something to, a rule of thumb to go by, even for you cooks out there that cook for your families. If you see something that's questionable and doesn't smell right, don't serve it. If you wouldn't eat it, don't serve it. Right? All right. So I think that this attitude of where is it here? Oh geez, I lost my train of thought here. Help me, Lord. I was trying to get to you. This life is a test, okay? It's like a test of your attitude. God's throwing all these little trials at you, and how well do you handle them? Do you act like a spoiled brat and throw a tantrum? Because I do. And then I have to catch myself and go, Lord, I'm doing it again. Jesus, please help me stop doing this. And I used to have this unlimited patience with people, and I'm finding that it's running out. And it's weird because with this, it should be expanding. Your patience should be expanding. Your strength should. Your foundation should. Okay, but I think you guys are finding that it's really testing you, and you're struggling. And that if you're struggling like I am with this, and sometimes you get angry, and you're supposed to be at peace, that means he loves you. He's actually testing you. You're being tested. If it wasn't happening to you, that's when you should worry. But if stuff like that is happening to you spiritually, really testing you, and you're at war inside your head right now, going, oh, this is so hard. Why are these people? You have advanced knowledge that they aren't aware of. They have no situational awareness. You have to remind yourself these people are like the lost sheep. They don't even know that they're sheep, let alone that they're lost. You have to point out that they're sheep. You have to point out that they're lost, and then you got to corral them and bring them home. And that's still a job that we all have to undertake until this movie winds up, until the ending. All right. So do your work as if you're doing it for him. This was another one. This weird ass vision type thing. All right. We already have victory. All right. We already are going to heaven. So you're in heaven and you're telling the story to your friends about your life. What was it that you did that got you into heaven? Blah, 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 blah. Well, are you going to have some juicy details to give them? I saved some lives. I saved some souls. I won some people to Jesus. Those are going to be the stories that matter. I fought back. I stood my ground. I wouldn't be pushed around by, the tyranny and the lies and stuff. What's your story going to be? You better start thinking about what you're going to be talking about for eternity as your permanent record. What was your glory that got you into heaven? Well, there was a car on fire and I stopped and pulled somebody out and saved their life. Pretty soon you might be asked to put your life on the line to save somebody else, just like he put his life on the line to save you. All right. If you die, you're going to a good place. So don't you want to have like the biggest crown, the best story? At the last moment, right before the marathon finished, I gave a last little bit of kick, and I actually passed second place and won because I knew it was a marathon, and I saved some energy for the end, and I gave one last good kick at the end to finish that race and came in first, where I would have come in third if I'd have just kind of kept jogging along, and not really tried to give it some extra effort at the end. So from that perspective, you're already in eternity. Turn around and look back at this time right now that you're in while you're still in it and view it for what it is. You're a spiritual warrior. You're a true disciple. Okay? And you're a prophet, true prophet. This term prophet, let me get that straightened out a little bit too. Anybody who is repeating the word of the Lord is a prophet, because the Bible is talking about future events. And when you're using those events and you're talking about them using the Bible, that is being a prophet. It's not looking into the future, into some crystal ball and seeing, a big wave hitting New York City. No. It's about interpreting the Bible, understanding that the events that unfold, and then just preaching it. You're being a prophet because you're talking about what's going to come in the future, right? So as long as you're preaching the gospel, you're basically a prophet. Ta-da, it's that simple. Really, it is. And as a believer, that makes you a disciple. All right? As a knower, now you know. I want your foundation so rock solid, so strong that when it comes down to life or death, you will stand there bravely and risk your life. Probably won't lose it. You probably won't lose it. The moment you stand up and put your life on the line, he ain't going to take yours. He's going to help you save somebody because you're trying to help save somebody else. That's how it works. So, you know, I'm not saying go out in a hail of bullets, trying to, stop some bank robbery or anything like that, but go out, help people. There are some poor people out there that are freezing their ass off right now. They would love a warm garage to sleep in. I mean, come on, help each other out. You're all brothers and sisters, and it just breaks my heart to see, my two of my children fighting each other and bloodthirsty to kill each other. And when they don't understand that they're brothers, they're just mad because one's got a better toy than the other. When they should be thanking their father for having consciousness and awareness and and life. I mean, what a beautiful life we get to lead here on a beautiful planet, a fallen planet, but it's still very beautiful to look at and to experience. Okay, this is a school. This planet is like a school, a spiritual experience school where you're a spiritual being having a human experience, not the other way around. A lot of people say you're a human having a spiritual experience. No, no, no. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So while you're in class here, learn as much as you can, take on as much as you can, endeavor and endure as much as you can, and help as many as you can along the way. There's only so much time, there's the finish line is you can see it coming closer. You know that we're in a marathon now, right? And that there is a finish line. Dang, if this happened 3 years ago on Easter, that means the finish line for this marathon is getting pretty close. I think maybe now I'll give my last little bit of kick and see how many more people I can pass and win this race, or how many more people I can save as I win this race. Because you are going to win the race. But how many people are you going to save along the way? Help enlighten them. That's why sharing this channel is so important. It blesses you. It obviously blesses the person who gets to see it. And it glorifies him at the same time. It's a win, win, win. That's the way God works. Multiple dimensions, multiple meanings. Win, 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 win. Victory, 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 victory. Nothing but victory. You already got victory, so don't be all scared and stuff. You're still going to win. It's just the last leg of this marathon. Now, you can choose to putt along, but don't you want some more glory? To give to him? Say, hey, look at what I did for you. I brought some more people to you. All right? So I think that's about it for tonight. It's hell of late. I've had a long day. I should probably get a little bit of rest, I would assume, huh? Anyways, I love you all. God bless you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I'm already back. Can't you tell?